Hello and welcome to Guns and Gear. You know, about a week ago I posted a video and I shared some of my favorite revolvers for concealed carry. So it only made sense that I would make a video and talk about the semi-automatic handguns that I like to conceal carry as well. You know, I often lovingly talk about my revolvers because I really like a good revolver and I love to shoot them. But you know what? I love my semi-automatics just as much. And you know, I've always felt that I've been very fortunate that I pushed myself to build a collection that I could enjoy for years to come, and I think that I'm on my way of doing that. Are there more guns that I want to get? Absolutely. But I have a wide variety of firearms, and I've always liked to have that variety of firearms, and I like to shoot them, and I've taken courses with them, and I've trained with them, and I just I enjoy my collection. So I thought I'd show you probably the guns that I carry the most in concealed carry scenarios, and that is these 6 handguns on the table here. Now, when you look at these guns on the table, you'll begin to notice quickly that there are some you know, different sizes, obviously, but also different modes of operation. And I wanted to speak to that just for a minute before I talk about each individual firearm. And that is, you know, I've often said that I've been shooting for a long time, and I have. You know, I've had a concealed carry permit for 27 years. I've shot competition even longer than that because I was a young teen when I began to shoot competitions. And, you know, I've always, even before, you know, striker fire guns and things of that nature, I liked a variety. And I've kept that up. I've often gone to defensive pistol courses and carried maybe a 1911 and a Beretta 92, or maybe you know, a 1911 and a SIG 226 or 229 or something of that nature. So even when I've sought out the quality training, I've always been aware that there are different modes of operation of firearms out there, and if I intend to be competent with them and have the confidence to carry them to protect myself and my family, then I need to keep my edge on the operations of the different firearms. So, you know, I've really made it a point to do that because I never wanted to be pigeonholed. I never wanted to be painted into a corner that I can only operate with confidence and competence one particular type of firearm. So that's all I really wanted to say about that. You know, it's a subject that often comes up, you know, that people will choose a firearm for their defense, and you know, then they pretty much pigeonhole themselves into sticking with that exact mode of operation for firearm for all their other handgun purposes. And that's fine. That is solid. That's a good, solid opinion. But I have fought hard to keep myself from being painted in that corner, and it works for me. Okay, I feel absolutely confident with any of the firearms that are on this table to use them to protect myself and my family. All right, folks, so let's talk about these guns. First up is the Glock 23. Absolutely outstanding compact handgun. I like the 23 and the 19. In my opinion, they are some really outstanding firearms, and they really hit a sweet spot as far as firearm capacity and concealability. So they're outstanding firearms, and I like that one very much. Next firearm is the Smith & Wesson M&P, and this is a 45 compact. And I have to tell you that in the, I guess, maybe 3 years that I've owned this firearm, maybe a little bit longer, I have probably carried this firearm the most. It feels really good with in my hands, and I can shoot this gun very well in a variety of situations that I have trained with and or been instructed. So just an absolutely wonderful firearm. Love the trigger on this M&P. Now these next 2 firearms are 1911s, and I had to say that if I was cornered and I had to say what was my favorite type of pistol, I would say a good 1911. A good 1911. 1911 is very controversial in these modern times because it suffers from its success. There are so many people that are or manufacturers that are putting out 1911 designs, and some of them are very, very good, and some of them not so much. So I say that a good 1911 is one of my, is my favorite semi-automatic handgun. Here is a very good 1911. This is a Kimber, and it's the Gold Combat. It's a custom shop 1911. I've had this gun for quite a few years as well, and I have to be honest, I don't have any problems with this gun. I've never had any problems with this gun. No feeding problems. The only problems that I've had associated with this gun is 60-year-old and 70-year-old magazines that the springs have given up on them. But other than that, this gun has been very accurate. A lot of people pick certain characteristics of their firearms that their firearms do well, and they always say that that's their deciding factor. Some people talk about trigger reset. Trigger reset seems to be something a lot of people are talking about today, and that's good if they're getting that quality instruction and learning about how to properly manipulate a trigger. Well, there's no trigger in any semi-automatic handgun that's better than a single action. The Browning Design 1911 is a single action. Its trigger reset is, I don't know, maybe 1/10 of a Glock or an M&P or anything else on the market. Outstanding firearm, great trigger, and like the Glock and the M&P, I like to have night sights on my firearms for my defensive use, when possible. Now here's a fairly new gun, got it in a trade a couple years ago. This is the Smith & Wesson E series, and it is a commander size gun. It's the first commander size gun that I've had in a while, and I'm really falling in love with this 1911. It performs very well. It's a very accurate 1911. The only thing that I do not like about this handgun at all is this trigger moves side to side. And for whatever reason, that just irritates me. I'm going to replace that trigger myself one day. But at any rate, it's a 1911. Capacity is 8+1 because it's a government frame on a shortened slide. Outstanding handgun for concealment. The next firearm is the most ergonomic handgun, period. And that, of course, is the H&K P30, and this is in 40 Smith & Wesson, has a 13+1 capacity. Outstanding. This is a variant 1, I believe it's called. It has ambidextrous safeties and just a great shooting double action, single action type of handgun. And the last gun is my little subcompact, and this is a gun that I really like. I've heard some people complaining about the backstrap here coming off. I've not had that problem, and I've put a lot of rounds in the gun since I've owned it. This is the Walther PPS. It's in 9mm. It's very slim. Slender guns are very popular today, and this is probably one of the most slender guns that I've held at the time that I bought it. And a lot of the newer designs are at least as slim as this, but I doubt that they are slimmer. Anyway, if you need a subcompact handgun that you can still get a full grip on and shoot well, for me, the Walther PPS does that very well. Alright folks, that's the handguns that I wanted to show y'all. I appreciate you watching. And remember to shoot straight, on the range, and in life. Thanks.